there. Thank you so much for joining us today. I am with my two very dear friends and panelists, Kathy Cronin and Susan Jarboe, and I'm Reverend Linda Burdett. I've got the topic today. I love it. I hope you will too. But before we get to that, let's start with a moment of just mindfulness and prayer. So I invite you to sit back, get comfortable, just relax, take a breath, and turn within. God, here and now, let us know that we are one and all is well. Give us this moment to step away from any concerns we may have and let us just be present right here, right now, in health, in prosperity, in abundance, in love, knowing all is well. We are one. Thank you, God. Amen. So today I have got a book by Jim Blake. Let's see if I can get it for you. He's the CEO of Unity Schools. Let me change our view. There we go. Zoom was being cranky. This book is The Zen Executive, and the whole book is written, it says Gems of Wisdom and Enlightened Leadership. The whole book is about how to succeed in business and in your career and in life and still maintain spiritual principles and a spiritual morality that will benefit not only you, but the entire world. It's a wonderful book. It's called Zen Executive. And I'm in the chapter Making Money is Permissible. And I'm just going to read a little bit to kind of give you the flavor of the book, and then we'll talk a little about it. Though there may be a natural tension between the application of spiritual practices or faith traditions and the adoption of corporate business best practices, the two can and should coexist. Marrying these two sides of the coin, especially in nonprofit organizations, leads to optimum performance. It makes prioritizing both organizational success and individual well-being possible. The desire to succeed and make money within a mission-driven and spiritually based organization is not wrong, corrupt, or even misguided. It is necessary to ensure the long-term sustainability of the organization and its sacred work in the world. If we step back and consider business best practices and merits, it is most certainly the prioritization, that was a mouthful, of profit over loss. However, a sole focus on profit as the primary measure of success can seem at odds with a nonprofit organization. Okay, I'm going to stop there. And of course, he's focusing mostly on nonprofit. It seems to be quite frequently people of faith feel like making money and having money is wrong. And I know that that goes back to the idea that monks gave up all worldly possessions to focus on their faith. And then if we have a lot of worldly possessions, we can feel like, oh, maybe I'm not as faith-based as I want to be. However, that's not true. When we're in that kind of mindset, it's as if we're worshiping lack. That if I have everything I need, somehow somebody else doesn't have enough. And breaking through those barriers is a huge step on prosperity. So making money is permissible. It's something that you need to do if you're in business, if even if you're not, to be able to sustain the lifestyle that you want. Having that said, I know that in business, I go back to the people who treat me right, who have the right values and do good business, right business. When I was living in El Cajon, I took my car to Ramona anytime I needed the brakes and tires repaired. I knew a shop in Ramona that I could go to and ask them to check the brakes and check the alignment, and they'd put it up on the rack and they'd check everything out and they'd tell me, "It's fine, hun," and not charge me a cent. They'd tell me, "You've got about 2,000 miles before you need to do this." I trusted them. I believed in them. I referred to them. I went there every single time because it was good business. Here in Tennessee, I have found a shop that I believe the same way. Again, it's about my car. And when I take my car in, whatever they tell me, I believe. I know that they do good business, that they practice ethically and morality. So that's where I go. I've had doctors that I have believed were doing what was right for me, not what was going to make them the biggest profit. Now, they may not have been the richest doctors in the whole world, but I tell you, they're the doctors that I trusted with my health, with my most personal being, with my body in physical form. Okay, so there's my topic and my 2 cents. I know the panel has so much to add, so I will turn it over to you, ladies, who would like to share.
Well,
Kathy.
I'll go. I always think this is a great topic because there is the mindset of the have and the have not, and the rich and the poor, and just the divide on the thing. And I just always saw that, and there's a great book, and I can't remember the name of the author, but it was about how money is really a form of circulation. And it's basically the same aspect of the thing is that money is an energy and it's a source of moving it around. So by working to prosper yourself, it gives you the ability to help those who also are working to prosper themselves. And that is sort of like it becomes a whole circulation, is that, as you can do this, it's like Linda shared, is having the mechanic, the person you trust. If they do honest good work, you give them business. That was where money allowed you to do that and maintain that. And if you can see that it's not about, accumulating the wealth and miserly holding on to it, it's about using it as a currency to spread goodness out there to others, whether it's like giving somebody a job to come and clean your house for you or do your gardening for you, where it's like, okay, I can afford to do this because I work to achieve this. I can share my blessings with someone else, and they in turn, pay it forward to someone else. And if there's a point of saying, if I've been abundantly blessed through my hard work and diligence and what I've done, it's sort of like that blessing from God is maybe I can help someone else that's less fortunate than I am. And those who maybe can't do it for themselves, that, it's sort of like being able to circulate this around and give somebody that hand up and be able, when they stand on the corner and with a sign, it's like I sort of go past that. It's like I'll, if you'd like to do some work, if you'd like to have something, you know, it's like panhandling. I'm not big on doing that. But if I see somebody that's struggling and I'm near a McDonald's, it's like, come in with me and I will buy you a meal. You know, I will feed you, you know, help it out. It's sort of like there is that choice of doing that, but it's like I know that when prosperity has come to me and when I have that prosperity of consciousness, it's about giving back because I've been given the goodness, then it's giving back to others. And so I don't see where, you know, that accumulation of money, unless you're using it for evil and you're doing it for your own personal gains. I think God wants that circulating. It's a tool to circulate around. And whether it's currency and cash and money, or it's in time and service, it's that type. And I can remember Edwin Gaines did a talk at the Unity Church in El Cajon several years ago, and she gave everybody a penny. And it was sort of like, you know, that penny in your shoe when a bride gets married, so they're never, you know, that they will never be broke, that they will always have money. But it was that aspect is that she said that when you do this, and she focused on doing her talks and stuff like that, that she eventually generated enough cash and financial well-being to open a retreat center up. So she served more people. So it's sort of like, in a sense, like you said, this book is about with nonprofits and building, but the whole thing with nonprofits is being able to give back, to help those who are less fortunate, to be disciples of God through that abundance. So I just think it's my duty and my privilege and my blessing that God gave me the ability to generate financial well-being, and I see, and having that consciousness of, you know, not living in the world of lack, but see, you know, that it is what it is, and there'll be more to flow tomorrow. I mean, we went to the store the other day and I was just shocked that the bill turned out to be $150. And it's like, oh, wow, you know, wow, that was a big chunk of change for the few, you know, what I bought. But I also go, but I've been given that opportunity to do that. And so I've also looked at the fact of, you know, maybe things are costing more, but I'm receiving more money has come my way. So some of the prices have been driven up because people got a more living wage. And so that is so you know, you have to see there's a give and take, and it's all about circulation, that it's really a vessel of circulating God's goodness around the world. So those are my thoughts, and I'm open to hear anybody else's.
Well, I think this is a good, sorry. I think this is a good subject. And for me, being exposed to Unity fairly recently, I've always wondered about this particular issue. There's talk out there about the prosperity gospel, and it tends to be critical, just like you said. I have to respond to your car repair story. It's I do the same thing when I find people I like. And when I moved here, 19 years ago, 20 years ago, I had a difficulty finding a hairstylist. And I tried 3 different ones before I found the 4th one. And I've been with her ever since. So she is what I think is more expensive than some, but for me, it's worth it. One of the challenges that I pretty much, I would say, in terms of everything I give away every month, it does come to about 10% of my income. And every time I see an article about how boomers are going to run out of money, I get panicky and I think, oh shit, I shouldn't be giving all this money away. I should be socking it away, in a savings account or something. I mean, I am saving every month too. But I thought along the same lines, kind of what Kathy was saying about circulation, that giving the money away is going to help somebody. And some of what I give away goes to wildlife groups because I'm very concerned about the earth. So I think what you're saying about don't be a miser is something that people don't realize is part of the prosperity gospel. I think when people hear that phrase, all they're thinking of is me and my own income, that's all of it. But as Kathy pointed out, it's also circulation. And I have a friend whose mother said, money is like manure. If you pile it up, it stinks. And I thought that's kind of a clever way to say, pass on what you have been given. Linda said something a while back, way back, that always struck me. Linda, you were talking about a very difficult time in your life when you didn't have very much money. And yet you continued to give some away. And you said that, and you never missed it. I mean, it isn't like you then starved or anything. And I've always remembered that because I find it helpful when I give things away. So I appreciate the information that came forth about the prosperity point of view. And I am going to continue to think about it.
Thank you. And, thank you for bringing up tithing, which I think is important not only for myself, but any business that I'm a part of. I prefer to do business with companies I know tithe. And I want to now just talk a little bit about that. I tithe where I am spiritually fed, and I don't do it for the church. There's like this mistaken belief that we tithe for our church, and that's not true. Hopefully, we're spiritually fed in our church, and that's where we tithe. But we might be spiritually fed at Parks and Recreation, where they maintain the national parks. Giving money where you are spiritually fed keeps that flow in motion. So you're not stagnant. So it's not piling up, and you're keeping the channels open to receive more. I seriously don't know how I could maintain the lifestyle I have now without tithing. I don't think it's possible. I tithe 10% off the top. The before it gets taxed or anything, I tithe 10% absolutely. Then I give on top of that. So I tithe to where I'm spiritually fed, and I support organizations, people, things that really sing to me, that really calls out to me. And in doing so, I feel that energy flowing through me. I can't imagine what it would feel like to watch someone suffer and know I had the money to help them. If it was money that they needed, it could be time, it could be blankets, and I didn't do it. And I had to carry that, knowing that I absolutely could have helped, but I chose not to. Instead, I don't know how I would, who I would be if that was a part of me, which doesn't mean I give money to anybody and everybody who asks. I pray about it and I know what my limits are, and I give to the limit that I am able every time. And money comes to me when I need it. And just like you said, Susan, I don't miss it. Even though it seems like really big chunks of money, everything works and flows and bills are paid. And that's another huge piece of prosperity. And if I want to give more, it's okay to get more. And I get more, I can give more. That's good news too. Any other comments before we close?
I would, I mentioned about Edwina Gaines, and I did look up the book that she did the workshop on. It's called The Four Spiritual Laws of Prosperity, A Simple Guide to Unlimited Abundance. And it really, and in there she talks about tithing, that in the gospel it talks about giving back to the warehouse, where and she talks about being spiritually fed. It could be a person, it could be the waitress in a restaurant that just uplifts your day because she blesses you, or she just says some encouraging positive words that has just made you feel connected, and just leaving that little extra for that person because they spiritually fed you. Your spiritual tithing is to that which helps you become more spiritually connected. So hopefully your church is feeding your soul, but there are a lot of other places too that doing the tithing. And Linda sharing about the fact that you do that 10% right off the top is like, where it's at. So it just is a great way to know that as you give, so you receive. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay, then. Let's go ahead and bring this to a close. And that means we want to thank you for taking the time and watching our video. Hopefully, if you know someone who would benefit from the ideas we've discussed here, you'll share our video. It helps us and it may help them too. I was recently asked, how do I find videos? How do I find the rest of your videos? And there's a couple of ways. If you subscribe to us on YouTube and hit that little notification button, you can also tag us as a favorite. And what that means is anytime we put out a new video, you will get a notification. And as one of your favorites, you can go right to YouTube and look up old videos. We're also to be found at Unity Church of El Cajon, and the information of getting there is at the very end of this video. If you go to their website and look up videos, you can go back through the history and look at all the topics that we have shared so far. And when you do that, if you find we're missing a topic that you would really like to hear about or come join us and share about, we're open to that too. Just get in touch and let us know how we can best serve you. Thanks for being with us. Goodbye.
Thank you for joining us, and let's stay connected and grow in spirit. We are on Facebook. Search for Unity Church of El Cajon and follow us and like our posts. You can reach us on YouTube at Unity Church of El Cajon. Please subscribe to our channel, watch our videos, and leave comments which can help us improve. We are on the web at unityofelcajon.org. Email or call our church office to receive our weekly newsletters, which lists all of our activities and opportunities to learn and grow together.